Hi, welcome, good morning. Welcome back to Good Knit Kisses. I'm your host, Kristen, and I'm so glad you joined me today. Today is knitting day. Yay! Knitting day, and excuse to pick up the needles or to pick up whatever project you've got going and just chat and listen and dive in and talk. Today I wanted to talk to you about the benefits of knitting, and if you are not new to working with yarn crafting, you know how relaxing it can be. But there was an article out, and it's actually been out for a little bit, but I had missed it apparently, so I wanted to talk about that today. So while you're hopping on, be sure and tell me hello and where you're from, and I would love to get some, whoops, I'm hitting my thing, to get some feedback from people who've seen the benefits of knitting. I would love for this to be a place for people to kind of tell some of their stories. So you can come back here and kind of tell your story if you have a really cool story to tell, and everybody's story is cool to tell and here. So anyway, good morning. Hi, Joanne. I see you. Hi, Chris. Welcome. I'm knitting up my sample today. I'm not quite ready to film my 10 stitch tutorial live. I'm not sure I'm going to do it live. I'll probably pre-record it and do it in post-production, so we'll see. Anyway, hey Lori, good morning. I'm glad you're on. Hello, good morning, Chris and Maggie. Welcome, everyone. So while you're hopping on, I wanted to start talking about this article. I went ahead and shared it already, so if you haven't read it, have to go back to my page and see it. I'll put the link in the comments below here in a little bit. But I wanted to talk about coding. Have you been hearing more and more people talking about coding? Now, it's a nickname for things that we already knew about programming and things, but kids in school are learning how to code earlier and earlier. Even my kids who are in first and second grade, they are doing they call it Day of Code, I think is what they call it. And anyway, so they are learning at young ages how to do this. Well, there's an article out, and it was talking about can learning to knit help in learning code? And it actually takes down a very simple knitting pattern and showing the abbreviations and how it's related to code. And so if your mindset works really well on learning how to do that, even if you're not into pattern reading, but in your brain you're doing this mantra of knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one. When I flip, I do purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's like code. And in fact, it actually talks about some of the first people to put in punch code and program stuff actually could have been loomer, people who do like weaving looms and stuff, making these punch card things. So it's not unrelated, whereas you think it might be. So I want to take this opportunity to kind of talk to you guys about the mental benefits. We've also seen several articles about that it can actually deter Alzheimer's and things. It helps keep your mental fitness going on, but we know it also helps with emotional status and how you feel about yourself, but also to help calm you down. But if you are a knitter or crocheter, I think now is the time. Knitting has become more and more popular, I think for a reason. I think it would be great for us to pass on that to more people and encourage our friends and neighbors. Like, put down your devices and spend some time with your kids and learn to knit. If you were afraid before, there's so many tools out there to keep you not, to get you not afraid. I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and she is in her 50s. We went out to lunch, and she was talking about, she goes, I'm not creative. And I'm like, no, I don't want to hear that. And she goes, you're funny. Because one of my friends was like, no, I don't want to hear that either. Because we're all crafty and creative in our own ways. And not everything is for us. Like, not everybody's going to be good at everything. You can't. That would be a boring world, right? Or if we all did the same thing, that would be absolutely not fun. So anyway, but I would encourage you to get out and obviously if you guys are joining me, you've seen the benefit, but I've found more and more of my friends are actually watching me on these Facebook Live broadcasts. They're not saying anything. They haven't started knitting yet, but they're seeing the benefit and they're like, I love what you're doing and it's really cool. And, I wish, and I'm like, no, stop wishing. You need to start. So if you've got an opportunity to share with one of your friends in a very positive way, not pressuring them, but just your excitement and tell them your sort of knitting and crochet testimony of the benefits that it's happened for you in loom knitting or whatever, then be sure and tell them and just share with them. I want to encourage people to put their devices down and spend time learning. I mean, you can have your device out if you're trying to learn, if you need it for learning. But what I mean is take the time to put those things away and learn how to do a handcraft, because it really is helpful to your mind and also to your heart. But when we do this now, we've got millennials, we've got Gen Y, Gen Xers, very young people who haven't learned, and even our parents, like my mom didn't know how to knit. She knew how to sew, but it skipped that generation for her, not for everybody, but for her. And so she didn't teach me. And now, so I ended up having to be self-taught and gleaning from others. And then I have to teach my kids. And so I want to keep this going. But the thing is, it's not about trying to keep this old tradition going. There's something about it that was built inside of us. And, you hear our hearts are knit together. We're knit in our mother's womb. You hear those things, but that's for a reason. It's like something about us was built to work with yarn, to knit, to weave things together. We are a big fabric together, working together. So anyway, hey, Elizabeth, I see you jumped on. Oh, I'm so glad your husband got home from the hospital. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Elizabeth, you're a great example. So your husband had a stroke, and I am so sorry. I have an encouraging, if you go onto my reviews, it's not about me, but on my reviews, we have a viewer, and I'm so sorry if she's on here and I'm not remembering her name, but she has a really cool story about how she suffered a stroke and how she got back into crafting, and she actually, I have to say, healed herself. She actually got her own therapy by getting on the knitting loom and actually getting to her dexterity up, and now she's crocheting again. And, so that was her therapy tool. And I don't think a doctor prescribed that to her. So, I mean, she really had a stroke, and she said she's met people who wouldn't even believe that she had had a stroke. So, I just sing the praise of it all the time. Bridget says her anxiety brought her to the love of yarn. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, and so does it really help you? Does it help you kind of calm you and just kind of it's like you got it together. I found, I was knitting pretty hard last night. I mean, your tension can change. I was kind of upset about something last night. So I was flying along, but it was really nice to pour myself into this and then not into something that would have been not good. I didn't have any ice cream in my hand. I wasn't, writing a lashing out email or doing, not that I needed to do that, but it was doing positive things with it. Yeah. It distracts you and calms you. Absolutely. I'm so glad. Yeah. Oh yeah, Elizabeth, that's great. I'm so glad you're going to check that out. If you need a loom. And in fact, I would recommend getting the Zippy Master Kit because you can build it out. You can get the one so he could do with the big pegs, it'd be easier. But if he needs stability, if you put it on a tray and you need it to not move around, the Master Kit has the corners in it, and so it can set them out really stable. But the Zippy Loom has these really big round, or about 2.5 inch round pegs. And, oh, here. I happen to have a package right here. So this is what the Zippy looks like if you're not familiar. But getting it using the loom can really help you. You can also use your fingers for that, but I would say that for a stroke victim, I would do something that's not attached to their body, because if you need to, maneuver or fix, help with something else, then that would be attached. So that would not be good. Hey, Leah, you caught a live show. I'm so glad you are here. I missed some people coming on. Hi, Michelle. Welcome. Joanne says, now I know my nerdy sides like knitting. And also if you're talking to boys, I came over, my pastor's wife, she had asked me to come and teach her daughter. Now they homeschool. She wanted me to teach her daughter how to knit because they were going on a sabbatical, and she wanted to be able to have some skills for this very long extended thing. And so, and not just into video games and stuff. And so I went over and I brought her a bunch of yarn and some looms, and we were working together, and her son came in, the girl's brother, obviously. And he was like, this looks interesting. And so I started talking to him about it. And what he was really interested in is the fact that he could even take graph paper and basically plot out a pattern of what he wants, and then make that kind of shine through. And I was saying how, you could do all knit stitches and then put a bunch of X's on your pattern to show, like, maybe if you want to have like a creeper face pop out at you, and you can make those all purl. You can work out the math. You could do a whole series of triangles or squares or whatever, any kind of shape, even you can hand stitch on your name or whatever. And I said, yeah, it's like math and stuff. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's a pattern. It's repeating. I was like, do you like groupings of numbers and things like that? And he's like, yeah. So, I mean, like, you can talk to certain aspects of knitters, and I don't mean like just to win them over, but I mean like there's different aspects of different kinds of knitting that really get people going. Like, some people love to go in geometric shapes. Some people love to make it really free form and flowing and like make it change. And they end up becoming maybe designers and coming up with their own patterns. But you also have very, very mathematical designs that make great pattern makers and learn how to size things and stuff. That's amazing. That's a really, really good skill. Anyway, I'm just kind of scrolling through here. Chris says, I didn't come to knitting or crochet because of stress, but to find my happy place, soothing and very zen. Yeah, it is very zen for sure. Or stress or anxiety. It's really that. It really is. And then there is a joy in the rhythm of needles and motion of the hook. Absolutely. Well said. Well said. I am encouraging everyone today. I sent out this thing, and what I said is crochet, knitting and coding aren't this is a link, and I'd said coding and knitting aren't as different worlds as we imagine. Interesting article is what I had posted. You want to teach your child to knit. It could benefit that not only in learning a skill that lessens stress, but also pattern repetition that reinforce skills closely linked to code writing and programming. How cool is that? And then I just said, this is what excites me. Parents and friends, let me know if you'd like to learn. If you want a better way to connect with your kids, it's not too late to learn that skill together. And bonus, it benefits you both of your minds and your emotions. And with all the devices and things in our faces nowadays, and games and all the distractions, I challenge you to take this winter break to invest in some needles and some yarn, or a hook or a loom or whatever you get your hands on, and come with me to learn and learn online. And I'll put a link in the show notes here in a little bit. I have a needle playlist. If you go to goodknitKisses.com, if you go to youtube.com/goodknitkisses, which is my channel for YouTube, if you click on playlist, there's a whole bunch of playlists that say hit see more, and you'll see a needle playlist. It says knitting playlist and says needles. And let me get the link here, and I will post this in the broadcast here. Let's see. Let me see Facebook. Let me just go ahead and do this right now while I'm thinking about it. Because anyway, I think it would be great for you guys. And then, I mean, if I'm not the teacher for them, or you, if you're just coming to me the first time, I would love for you to find somebody to help you. But the reason why I want to share my playlist is because it's really grown, and because of the positive feedback that I've gotten on it, the feedback that I've gotten has been enormous. Because first of all, I'm very calm with my voice on it. I'm not super exciting Kristen, but I'm trying to be very calm and very thorough, and I try and go smooth and slow. And then in the playlist, there's some other like slow motion videos laced in between there. But if someone clicks on the playlist, then all those things be at their fingertips, and actually starts with an overview. So I talk about needles in a very basic way. I'm trying not to be too much information, because that can be overwhelming. So anyway, if y'all want to pass that along, that would be great. So Joanne says it's funny because the patterns never popped out as much when you knit on needles. Seeing the rows on the loom makes it easy to visualize the design for you. Oh yeah, because on the knitting loom, everything is the right side. So if you're only used to knitting on needles, you know that you have to turn back and forth, but you know that in the round, everything is on the right side. Well, the loom is the same way. So everything comes out that front, and you can totally see it. The only thing is, the loom for the first, inch or so or whatever, you can't see that part come out. But when you get further along, you're like, oh my gosh, there's the pattern. So that's the only thing I like about the needles is I can see the pattern coming out when I'm flipping it to the front, but it's really neat to realize all the front stitches and what those are actually doing. So all the right side. So yeah, it helps you visualize the pattern too as it comes out. So yeah. Bridget says, I tell people all the time to give it a try. They would be amazed how much they'd love it. Yeah. I try and talk to people. I'm like, if you had tried to learn before, I can totally get if you were ever frustrated, because unfortunately, if you learn from someone who was not used to teaching someone, or maybe they were stressed at the time, maybe because they had not enough time, or because maybe one of you was right or left-handed and the other one wasn't, or for whatever reason, or maybe your thing is crochet and their thing was knitting, or vice versa. Maybe you wanted to learn knitting, but they were crochet and they had a problem learning, so find someone else. So work with someone else and give it a try. But here's the thing. Once you unlock that initial learning phase, when you get the basics of knitting down, first of all, you can do that forever, and that's a totally relaxing skill. But then you can build on that. So when you're first starting to learn, it's not relaxing, I can admit, unless you have a super fun teacher, maybe, who's sitting right there. But you still have to catch the concept, right? Nobody can catch that for you. But once you get going, oh my gosh, you can fly, and just depending upon how you learn. And you might have a hard time in school learning, but knitting might come really easy to you. Who knows? So, anyway, I'm going backwards in the comments here to see if I missed anybody's little knitting testimonies here. So, Bridget, very relaxing, and a teacher like Kristen, a teacher like me. I would hope that I could help anyone and everyone, but I do know that we all have different styles, and I do know that having someone in person there with you is amazing. Can we just say, if we all had a local yarn shop in our backyard and we had all the time and energy and money in the world, we could just go and sit there and have them teach us. But me being on YouTube makes it really accessible to be able to have someone kind of go over those things with you. And you would be surprised that I actually get comments of people saying, but what about this information? And what about this information? Or you're going too fast or too slow. Hold on. On YouTube, first of all, first things first, I'm going to tell you something about YouTube. If you are not subscribed to YouTube, you will not get to see any of the cool benefits until you actually subscribe. If you have a Gmail account, it's super easy. You can just sign in with your Gmail account. Yay! So, cool thing. if you find a video that's helpful to you, and or like even like a crafting video or something, that video remains in your history. Did you know that? Did you know that you have a history? So if you leave YouTube signed in on your browser or your Google signed in, it remembers your history. Other fact, if you go into your history, you can say remove something from your history. Say somebody watched something goofball and now you're getting all these weird recommended videos on your news feed. You can just say remove from my history, like right click on the video, in little dots or dashes or edits or whatever little icon they have at that moment. And you can tell it to remove from your list and it will remove them. And then you can even make your own playlist of your own favorite videos. So say you don't like all the videos in a playlist, make your own. There's no rules. And you can even add descriptions to them, like why I need it or what minute I like. So there's really cool things. But also, did you know, and if you sit at a desktop or laptop, you get tons more benefits than just being on a mobile device. Let me just tell you. Now, if you don't have access to a mobile device, I'm not suggesting that you go out and buy a computer, but your history will still remain and you still will be able to see that kind of thing. But if you are on a desktop or laptop, you can also slow it down by hitting that there's a slow motion button, or you can speed up something. You can also, on either one, fast forward, or you can back up, that kind of thing. But also, you're going to want to use the feature for the description. So in many of my videos and other people's are like, look down below, or they'll talk about, look at the link in the comments below, but it's not really in the comments, it's in the description for the video. So if you're on the desktop or laptop, it might actually say see more, but it might actually have one of those little caret things, which is like just a triangle, and you just hit the button and it opens, and then all this information is at your hand. So it'll have information like what needle size, what yarn was used. It might even have a link to it. In some of my longer videos, I've been going back and finding out what time frames I talk about certain lessons. And so you might be able to either click on that button and the video jumps to it, or you can just, what I call scrub through, like move the little thing over and find that spot in the video and then play it from there. You can also, on a desktop or laptop, hover your mouse over, so like say the video screen's here and I put my mouse and over where I would normally like maybe click to make it move it, but I can just hover and this little box should show up with a little preview and you can kind of see where the person is in their video. So those are just some YouTube general hints. I know this isn't my social media day, but I really want you guys to be able to, like, feel free to share this video if it will help someone that you know and love and they want to know how to learn how to knit. You know, send them there. I uploaded also, now at the very bottom of the list, the beginning of the playlist, I put like everything sort of in what I think is a rational order for learning. But then now when I add knitting stuff, it all just shows up at the bottom of the list. So it's there. It just may not be in like what a rational learning order. But at the bottom of my playlist right now is like a 90-minute video on a knitting lesson that I did here on Facebook. And it was when you guys were doing Q&A, talking to me while I'm teaching, which is a good one to just sit and listen to somebody to teach. I actually recommend doing that. Like say you're doing housework and you're putting your earbuds on and putting it in your pocket, or you're going for a jog, you can just listen to some of the tips and things. And so it's sort of in your back of your mind. You could sit and you could watch it, or you could knit along or work along or crochet along. If you're a crocheter and you're trying to learn how to knit, you can just at least listen to the stuff. And then when you want to go and sit down, then you've already heard some of that stuff, and then it kind of helps you out. So most videos, when you're learning them, I would say number one, watch the whole thing first. Watch it, listen, have a notepad, take some notes, or write down like a time, like, ooh, I like what she said here. Back up, pause, write the thing down, and write the thing you want to learn, and then push play again and go. Same thing when you learn to read a knitting pattern or crochet or whatever. Read the whole pattern first. It might not make any sense at all, but you might find something that's interesting in there that will help you for later, depending upon how people lay it out. So anyway, I have been jammering on talking so much. I just wanted to get all of that out. And I'm going to kind of go back and just say hey to everybody and talk. You're all in here giving me your good stories. I'm so excited. Elizabeth says she has a friend, I believe I read she's 95, who's very independent woman teaching you how to needle knit and understands the knit verbiage. Oh, that's excellent. She's so good. And she can knit an Afghan in 3 days, cables and all. She is a rock star. Let me just tell you, that is awesome. Lori, she says, oh my God, my granddaughter played for hours on my YouTube. Yes. And Lori, and if you're signed in, your history will reveal it. Also, I have found that it's been a really good eye-opener to what my kids were trying to watch. We have our devices all set up with my account on them so that if they watch something, I can see it. And so I can go check my history and see what they have been watching. They're not around, so they can't hear me say this, and they're too young to know it. And so I can go and see if they've watched anything, and then I can hit remove from history. And so, because if I take it out of my history, YouTube will stop searching for new related videos for me in that area. So, just so you know. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Elizabeth, she's also still in her own home. She's smart as a whip, it sounds like. Good morning, Ada. I saw you hop on. Bridget, your daughter's also Lori? Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Hey, good morning, Teresa. I see you hopped in. And Ada, you take notes that way too? Oh, excellent. Yeah, good morning, Amber. I'm glad you hopped in. Lori says that's why I get that opening packages and toys. Oh, yeah, unboxing. Do you guys, I'll ask you this, when I do my reviews, lately I've done some unboxings on Facebook. Do you like that? Like to see what those things are? I know that I've enjoyed seeing some unboxing videos for things that I was interested in buying, because I'm like, well, what all comes in it? And then like, how big is it? Or how, like if you're buying online, you can't really tell all that stuff. But when you see someone's hands on it, and they kind of talk about the quality of stuff. To me, I think that's pretty cool. I don't like sit and watch a ton of unboxing stuff, so I don't think it would be natural for me to just start an unboxing channel or anything. And I'm not here to just start new channels. But anyway, yeah. Oh, good. Okay, so you like that too. Crystal, your kids like unboxing stuff too? Well, cool thing is about this time of year, there are a ton of crafting kits, and it's astounding. I mean, there's been more and more in the last few years crafting kits, and I've even been contracted to do some myself. But this is a great time of year to find some amazing deals, and even like, you could buy, if you just want your kids to just learn this kind of stuff, if you can get like 12 of them, you could even like kind of stock them away. And then like once a month, be like, this is our craft of the month. And you pull it on out and do that. That's great for learning. It's great for your mental fitness and exercise. It's a great task to do with the kids. And, I'm going to take my own advice. I'm actually going to be getting some kits and things too. Some fun stuff. We actually started doing that last year. I didn't get 12, but, I'm thinking actually that would be a great thing to do, rather than even just games. I mean, I love playing games with the kids, but I think like an actual crafting thing would be fun, because, how are you supposed to know what your creative and crafty is if you never tried it, right? And there's so many different things out there. You might be an amazing embroiderer, but if the people around you aren't that way and they don't have that crafty thing, how are you supposed to find it if you don't try it? You're not going to find out that that's your like super big calling in life, is to do that. Right? You could be the next amazing person at that because you are you and made uniquely that way. Don't poke my eye with a knitting needle. Amber, I'm a big gesturer. And having something in my hand is really nice. But yeah, what? No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, Lori, your interests but not toys. Yeah, she didn't want to do toy unboxing on my channel. I am not going to be doing any toy unboxing unless it's some kind of knitting toy. And I consider it a toy, but it's not really a toy. Just because I love it and I'm excited, so I'll call it a toy, even though it might be a tool. I could call this a toy. It's not. Although, it's reminding me of pickup sticks. Y'all remember pickup sticks? That was fun. That was a game of strategy, too. It really could be. Chris says, shopping vicariously, watching someone open packages. Yeah, or me taking you shopping. My post-election shopping spree. Y'all, you would not imagine. So that yarn therapy video, hit the love button if you saw me do it either live or post, like after it was live, the unboxing, not the unboxing, the yarn therapy video after the election. I uploaded that to YouTube just for the heck of it. Y'all, it's like my number 9 video. Like, seriously, like, that's awesome. People just had fun watching. Oh, look at all the little hearts. Oh, I love it. I love it. Maybe I need like after every little stressful thing in the news, go, no, I would be at the store all the time. I would run out of money. My train of thought was, oh, I'll just go buy stuff. No. That's not a good solution to your problems. But that day we really needed it, didn't we? If you missed that video, you could go and check it out on my channel. I think it was a Wednesday. And it was our knitting and yarn day. And so I traveled out to Michael's. So you'll have to go back on Facebook. If you go Good Knit Kisses, this thing up on the top, if you hit Good Knit Kisses, go to my page and click on videos. There are playlists, and I broadcast every day. Mondays are Q&A day, Tuesdays loom knitting, Wednesday knitting and yarn, Thursday crochet, and then Friday sometimes I'm doing social media stuff. So at least 4 to 5 times a week I'm broadcasting, and all those playlists are done by day because they're kind of categorized, and you can see like the newest video first in that list. So yeah. Hey Joan, and you're in England, Somerset, England. Welcome. And it's probably afternoon or evening for you, so good evening. And yeah, thumbs up on the unboxing, Sevra said. Joanne says, I saw one at Walmart yesterday, had an extra large gauge loom, a little smaller than a zippy, and kids sewing machine. Oh, that's interesting. And it was a funny combination. Yeah, I bought my daughter, she doesn't even use it now, so don't go out and get it. I got her one of those toy sewing machines. It was terrible. And it doesn't have a, excuse me, hang on. It doesn't have a bobbin. And so basically what you have to do is do like a chain stitch up the back to keep the stitches in place. And it made it more difficult. Like, those girls posing are models. I'm sorry. Just get a cheap sewing machine. And by the way, if you find yourself a local sewing shop and you're a sewer or whatever, many of them will take machines and refurbish them. Any of them worth their weight will service machines. And so a lot of times they'll find old machines and fix them up. And you can get some really good deals on some old machines. And all you got to do is do a straight line. I mean, you know. So now that's for sewing. It's not knitting, but that's interesting. That was a combination of a loom and a sewing machine. That's kind of funny. Lori says, I'm thinking of buying something for your great niece. Maybe, yeah, loom knit kits. Yeah, the zippy kits, this little zippy kit is a good one. Not gonna lie. Oh, by the way, and also Knitting Board has a cool kit, and they have a really good book. But I'm gonna say mine is awesome too. This is like $10 at Walmart. Oh, and I got a notification. This is about $10 at Walmart. This is I taught myself how to loom knit. It comes with a boy loom, and this is the book. So if you think about it, you're getting a $10 book with 10 patterns in it. All the patterns are on the back, and then but it has all the skills to learn how to do all the different stitches, and I even have some crowns in there. Did this book a few years back, and it's just a handy dandy small book to keep in your bag. But anyway, it's great for learning. And then Knitting Board has a basics kit that has a little loom with it as well. And this particular one, you can knit stuff like a flat panel and put it together for an infinity loom. An infinity scarf. You can knit in the round. This is in the round, and then make this little I-cord for this bag. You can double knit on it, make this double knit really thick thing. You can this is a different type of double knitting technique was used for that. This is knit in the round. These are boot cups. These are actually knit flat panel and joined together. And then these mitts were made about the same way. This one's in the round. This is flat knit, and then this is a dewdrop scarf. So there's all different techniques that are in that book, and for $10. Now, I don't make anything from that. I do have an affiliate link. If you want to find where to get it on Amazon, you can go on my goodknitkisses.com page and go to my shop, and then click on a link there if you want to check that out. That is an affiliate link, but you can buy it at Walmart, and they just contracted me to do that. So Deborah says, I started laughing, and it makes you laugh along. It scares your cats. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. I can really scare your cats and do the Wicked Witch of the West laugh. It's perfect. It's perfect at Halloween. I scare my friends' kids with that one. Oh, Joanne, you just taught your daughter on a real machine. Much easier. Yeah. There's a sewing place called Suddenly Sewing that's down the street from us, and they had a beginning girls sewing class, and it was for ages 9 and up. And actually, like after Christmas, they have a girls quilting class, and I think the sewing class was like $35, but the quilting one is like $60, and it comes with all the supplies to do it. And then if you want the machine, it's like $10. So instead of hauling your machine up there to rent their machine. So anyway, yeah, I love. I'm all about getting other people to teach the things that I can't do, because I could do some basic stuff on sewing, but honestly, I'm not the expert there. And when it comes to sharp items and then ironing, I'm not your girl. I do have one sewing thing on my channel here, and I probably will do some, but it's pretty basic. So anyway, Lori says, I bought my great niece that chocolate maker. Oh, where you draw letters and fill the molds. Oh, yeah, that's hard. Oh my gosh. So it was so hot it squirted to the mold, and the girls were getting burnt from holding the pen. Oh gosh. I hope they're okay. That's awful. I had a glue gun accident that sent me. I was in college, and I did my first craft show, like where it was just me, like I wasn't with my mom in a craft show, and I burnt myself. I had a 2nd-degree burn. I had to go to the hospital for a glue gun accident that was right before the craft show. I had already got my booth ready and everything, and I was gonna head back up there, and I had to go get something, and I was like, I'm gonna do this last thing. Yeah, not good. Yeah, not good. I wasn't wearing any protection, and I decided, let's do it on my lap, and I squirted it right through on this wreath and got my leg. It was awful. Leah says, does anyone know how to do gloves on a knitting board? Less bulky with small yarn. You can do less bulky gloves on a knitting loom. Knitting board specifically, depends on what you're doing. There's a ton of patterns on Ravelry. Whether you are knitting with needles, loom, or crochet, you need to go check out Ravelry if you're not on there yet. There are a ton of patterns. They will also name off the looms in the description, but there is a category for loom knitting now, and they will name off the looms and stuff. So if you want to find one specific to your loom, then you may have to look a little harder, but you can search for gloves or wristers or things like that. Fingerless mitts, kind of use those different words to search out your stuff, and then you can save them and then go back and look and see what kind of tool that they're doing. I hope eventually that maybe we could get all the loom knitting tools listed just like needles are listed, but we'll figure that out in the future. There are some things coming down the pipe in the future that I think loom knitting is going to get a bigger platform. But anyway, if you I'm gonna show you real quick before I head out here. If you do share this video for people, and they're like, I want to make a blanket, but I don't want to have to hold this massive thing. So you guys who are normally seeing me on here have seen this, but the other people haven't. So if they're going to be new to knitting, here's something. It's called the 10 stitch. It works with 10 stitches at a time. And as you work along, you pick up the side of this, and it starts in the middle and it works its way around, and you go around and around and around and around. Isn't that cool? And then you throw it in your bag, and it's really portable. This little needle has 2 points on the ends. It's called a double pointed needle, so it's referred to as a DPN. Anyway, it doesn't have to be scary. You don't have to work with all 5 that come in a pack. You just work with 2, and you only do 10 stitches at a time. So and you can always, like, you know, learn to make a scarf and do like long straight things that are just that, and then you can always like sew them together. And when I say sew them, you're not getting on a machine. You just get the same yarn that you used and a wide-eyed tapestry needle. You know, that the eye of it is wide-eyed because it's wide enough for yarn to go through, and you just sew it together. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, Elizabeth, yeah, I got to the blue. Isn't this cool? So see, it started in the middle, worked out to the greens. There's my green, and then that's where it started, the blue. And it looks really cool. I love it. Here's the back. Isn't that fun? So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you found this of value and you want to encourage your friends to knit, be sure and forward that article that I sent or share that. But if you'll share this video, and anyway, but also be sure and go to my channel, Good Knit Kisses, on YouTube. So youtube.com/goodknitkisses, and subscribe. There's a little bell thing or an edit button or whatever, and you're going to click on that and hit that you want to receive emails from me. I recently was looking at my numbers, and I realized that only about 3% of the people who watch my videos are subscribers, which means the benefit doesn't come to you in your inbox and say, hey, I have a new video that's out. And you might be like, why am I not hearing from Kristen? Be sure and check, because I've actually heard from some YouTubers that they've heard that people were unsubscribed mysteriously. So go check out your subscriptions of all the people that you like to subscribe to. Make sure that you are getting stuff from them, or at least go to mine. Selfishly, I'm going to ask you to go to mine, and of course your favorite people, and make sure you're subscribed, but also click on that little bell and make sure that you are receiving those emails. But I found out only 3% of the people who are subscribed to me are actually subscribers. I mean, the people who watch me are subscribers. And guess what, y'all? On YouTube, I now have 150,000 subscribers. Isn't that crazy? Just doing what I love and teaching you guys and having fun, right? And like, you know, bringing the learning along. Like, you got to learn this because it's super awesome. Join the awesome group, right? So, oh, you're subscribed, Deborah. That's awesome. Hey, Myra. Yes, I cut my hair. It was too old for that. Yeah. No, she'll go check. Yeah, you don't want to miss out. So if you've heard of PewDiePie, the guy who's like, hey bros, you know, like that, he has this video that as soon as he hits 50 million subscribers, he's gonna like delete his account, which is ridiculous. It's totally clickbait. He's not, you know, anyway, I don't see why he would do that. But his whole point is like, he even was unsubscribed to one of his favorite channels, and he's like, YouTube, what's up? Why did you do that? And they're like, we don't know, is what he said. But anyway, I'm just like, if that's a risk, then go check out your channels and make sure you're subscribed. But make sure you're getting the email. And by the way, if you watch a video and you are not subscribed, you won't get to see it in your history. So if you just joined me, be sure and go back and listen to what I said earlier, and I talk about history and all that kind of stuff to really help you. By the way, if you want to know more and some other concrete evidence and articles about the other benefits of knitting, be sure and check out craftyarncouncil.com, okay? craftyarncouncil.com, and click on health. When you click on health, there's a couple of videos and articles talking about the benefits of knitting and crochet. And also, there's a ton of awesome information at the craftyarncouncil.com. Anyway, you guys, if you have benefited, please share this video, comment, like, love, whatever you want. I would just love for it to get out there and more people at the holiday season go buy some needles or hooks and some yarn and start working with their kids or themselves. Anyway, love to you all. You guys give me some big hearts. Love you so much. And I am looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for Crochet Day. I hope you have a great and wonderful day, and happy knitting and crochet. Bye, everyone.